There's a moment, hidden from the stage lights and Instagram filters, when Selena Gomez stood backstage, trembling, not from nerves, but from the pain of lupus flaring through her body. She had just smiled for cameras, but the truth was she could barely breathe. Minutes later, she broke down in a hospital room, wondering if she'd ever be whole again. She was only in her 20s, but had already lived lifetimes of pressure, pain, and public scrutiny. And yet, from that very breaking point, she began her rise, not just to fame, but to something far greater: peace, purpose, and self-acceptance. Selena Gomez wasn't just the Disney star with the big eyes and a bigger smile. She was a young girl from Texas, raised by a single mom who had her at just 16. Selena entered the entertainment world early, and the spotlight never let up. From Wizards of Waverly Place to chart-topping music, she became a global icon before she could fully understand herself. But behind the success, Selena faced relentless battles that couldn't be won with fame. Diagnosed with lupus, an autoimmune disease that attacks healthy tissue, her health began to deteriorate. She underwent chemotherapy, and later, a life-saving kidney transplant, donated by her best friend. And that was only one side of the storm. On the inside, Selena fought crippling anxiety, depression, and episodes of psychosis, intensified by social media and fame. Millions followed her, but she often felt completely alone. She left tours midway, canceled interviews, and quietly checked into mental health facilities, trying to put herself back together again. But here's what makes Selena different. She didn't run from her pain. She used it. She told the truth, even when it wasn't pretty. And through it all, she built something more beautiful than any song or show. She built a life that inspires healing, courage, and truth. Life Lesson 1. Vulnerability is a superpower. When I was finally honest about what I was going through, it changed everything. Selena Gomez. There was a time when Selena Gomez kept everything bottled up. Her struggles with depression and anxiety weren't on brand. But one day she went live on Instagram, face bare, voice shaky, and opened up about her mental health. That video reached millions, and it changed lives. By admitting her pain, she gave others permission to admit theirs too. She wasn't perfect, and that's what made her powerful. If you're a student feeling overwhelmed, a worker afraid to speak up, or someone who feels like they're barely holding it together, remember, vulnerability isn't weakness, it's honesty. And honesty creates connection. Ask for help. Open up. That could be your first step toward healing. Life Lesson 2. You are not defined by illness or circumstance. At 24, Selena had a kidney transplant. Most people would retreat, but she chose to speak out, not for sympathy, but to show others that you are not your diagnosis. She once said, "Lupus doesn't define me," and she proved it. She continued making music, producing shows like 13 Reasons Why, and even launched Rare Beauty, a brand focused on self-acceptance, not perfection. Whether you're facing a breakup, failure, or health challenge, don't let that moment define your entire story. You're more than what happened to you. Keep showing up. Your story is still being written. Life Lesson 3. Protect your peace, even if the world doesn't understand. Selena did something radical. She deleted Instagram from her phone. That's right, the most followed woman in the world at one point stepped back. Why? Because it was damaging her mental health. The comparison, the pressure, the noise, and that decision changed her life. You don't need 1 million followers to feel overwhelmed. Social media, toxic relationships, and even overwork can drain your energy. Protect your peace. Take digital detoxes. Set boundaries. Say no when your body says I'm tired. Peace isn't selfish, it's necessary. Life lesson 4. Use pain to fuel purpose. When Selena launched Wondermind, a mental fitness platform, she wasn't just building a brand, she was building a movement. After years of silence, she wanted to normalize conversations about mental health. She took her darkest moments and turned them into light for others. Her pain became a platform. Her healing became hope for millions. What's your pain? A failed dream, a toxic job, a family wound. You don't have to waste it. Journal about it. Talk about it. Help someone who's walking the same road. Your deepest hurt could one day be someone else's roadmap to healing. Life lesson 5. You are enough, even when you're not productive. In a world obsessed with hustle, Selena did something bold. She paused. She stepped back from the spotlight. She chose therapy, time off, silence. Why? Because she needed to heal, not perform, not produce, just be. She learned that her worth wasn't tied to chart numbers or social likes. She was enough as she was. If you're a high achiever, a dreamer, or someone who feels guilty resting, take this in. You don't have to earn your worth. Rest is not laziness. Healing is not weakness. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop, breathe, and just be human. Selena Gomez's journey is not just about surviving lupus, anxiety, or fame. It's about becoming whole in a world that profits from your brokenness. She taught us that vulnerability is courage, that your past doesn't own you, that peace is worth protecting, and that your pain can serve a greater purpose. Most of all, she reminds us that we are already enough. So whatever you're facing, be it burnout, heartbreak, or self-doubt, know this: you're not alone, and your story isn't over. Start healing, start speaking, start living, because like Selena, your truth can change lives.